Through making these videos, I've realized something that, I watch videos and I make videos and I look at what's going on around me and I pay attention to people's mannerisms and what their opinions are on parenting or raising kids or the school system or abortion or whatever it might be, right? And I listen to these and I pay attention to them and I try to keep as much of that shit in my brain as I can because it's ultimately how I inform myself, but it's also kind of how I base my own opinion, right? So like I've always been one of those guys that if I'm solid in my opinion and you prove me otherwise, then I'll change over to how you think until I can prove that wrong. But ultimately, my opinions are never really set in stone. They're just set that way until somebody can shift them, right? So it's a good thing to do that. But what I've realized through doing that is that we are so much alike, and yet we fight so much over simple, silly shit, and I just don't understand why. All of us have had so much of the same experiences, regardless of being black or white or tall or short or fat or skinny or whatever it is. We have all gone through the same things, right? Now some of us were a little bit different. Maybe we had two brothers. Maybe we had 17 brothers. Maybe we had, three sisters, one brother, whatever. Maybe you didn't have any siblings at all. Maybe you were an only child. Maybe you had shitbag parents, maybe you had good parents, maybe, whatever. You take all this stuff and you wrap it all together, and there's enough of us out there in each of these situations that we can always ultimately relate to a vast majority of people for the most part, right? So when we fight and we say, oh, you don't understand, you don't know what it's like, you don't know what I've been through, but we do. We do, like, on a subconscious level, like because whatever it is, we can relate it to our own shit. That's one thing my wife taught me. Everybody has their own shit, and unfortunately, but fortunately enough, a lot of the shit is the same. So when people say, like, I wish people could just get along, or I wish people could just stop fighting, or I wish people could just mellow the fuck out, like, why are we in these race wars? Why are we fighting each other over religion? Why are we whatever? It's in our nature to combat with our siblings. And we are all brothers and sisters in one way or another because we all kind of grow up in the same setting. It's some of them are a little bit different here and there, but for the most part, we're all the same. So I might not look like you, but if you've ever been persecuted because of your skin color or beat up or ridiculed because of your skin color or who you like to sleep with or, what your dress attire looks like, whatever it is, I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about. So we're really not that different. There's really not much reason for us to fight other than sibling rivalry. It's really all it should be.